Warning. This episode of Chosen Ones contains light implications of transphobia at the timestamps currently displayed on the screen and in the video description. While we take great care to handle these topics carefully, please use the listed times if you are sensitive to these issues. Thank you. Previously on Chosen Ones, Theo and Brandy tried to describe the creature they saw the night before, but curiously seem only able to describe a bear. The Sparks finish their training with Wynn, and are told they will get to pick their opponent for their final with him. Afterwards, Brandy helps Shui practice talking with Peter, giving Shui the strength to tell the mentor his feelings about being trained by him. Avayath and Theo go to the library, so Avayath can research training methods, and Theo can look up information on enchanted tattoos and the strange creature they keep encountering. Later, Theo discusses what he learned with Brandy, and promises that together the two of them will figure out his past, whatever it might be. As the group gets ready to go to sleep, Brandy pours holy water around the cabin to hopefully prevent the return of the creature, and all of our Sparks settle down to prepare for Peter's training the next day.
Break me down, we keep fracturing, so you'll forget your place and never find grace. Fly me away before the clouds are paid, so we will lose our wings within the storm. Breathe me in, take what's left of me. I lose my mind to faith, I cannot disgrace. Heart-beating heart, erase your belief. I will destroy what's left and run away. Get with the tune, harmony, the shadow in this sea. Come to the page, the curtains rising soon.
Avayath and Shui roll perception checks.
20, not natural 20.
Okay, and Avayath got a 6. Avayath, you're sleeping, you're good. Fucking knocked out. Shui, you wake up to the sound of voices coming from outside your window, and you recognize them to be Estel and Peter, having what appears to be a very heated argument.
I'm fucking tired. I'm gonna sleep. No, he's nosy. Well, if it's Peter and they're right outside and they're heated, he will kind of snoop a little bit. So he probably woke up and wasn't sure what he was hearing. And he got really excited for an instant when he thought it was a bear, but then he recognizes the voices. So he goes over to the window, I guess.
Yeah, you don't even have to get up. Your window's pressed against it, or your bed's
okay.
pressed against it. Yeah.
Okay, well he will listen.
Okay, you don't have dark vision or anything, do you?
He's half high elf. Yeah, he does. Dark vision, 60 feet.
Okay, you do. So yeah, you can see them currently talking very heated. It looks kind of like Peter is taking almost a defensive stance. He looks like he's trying to back away from her while she's talking to him. And you hear Estel going, "How much have you been taking?" And Peter answers, "Enough. I've had enough." "Enough isn't an amount, Peter. You were prescribed a dosage." "Wynn told me how you've been acting lately." And there is a long pause for a moment. He looks like he wants to run away from this conversation right now. "If I take it as frequently as you all want me to, the side effects make things worse." And she lets out a very loud sigh and just says, "I know it's hard. I went through the same thing after." And he just cuts her off and says, "You went through it for barely a moment of your history, Estel. This is my life." And she just takes a very deep, sharp intake of breath and just says, "You've been keeping secrets from me again. I'm trying to help you, but you have to accept the help." And he just kind of laughs that off, almost like a dramatic shift from what he was saying a moment ago. It's just accept your help. That was what put me right back where we started. And she kind of looks around and goes up to him and grabs the collar of his shirt and is just lower your voice. And then they start whispering.
She looks really worried, and he feels pretty bad because this conversation wasn't meant for him to hear, but he's hearing it anyway, so he feels bad. But yeah, he is kind of worried, and so he'll lean over the edge of his bed and he's like, Yaya, wake up. Yaya, wake up. No, I'm kidding.
You can wake up, Avayath.
Avayath wakes up and he's like, huh? What? Is it the bear?
I fucking wish. Him and Shui both wished it was the bear. No, he's like, I'm worried, Yaya. Estel and Peter, it sounded like they were arguing outside. Here, listen.
Does Avayath have dark vision?
Yes, he does. 60 feet.
60 feet? Okay, you both look outside your window. They're kissing.
What the fuck?
Doesn't look like an argument to me.
What the fuck? Shui turns red.
Shui, maybe I'll teach you a thing or two about romance later. Let's go to sleep.
No, but it sounded like Master Peter wasn't taking medicine or something. Like he was sick, or he doesn't know how to explain it because his brain's small.
I'll say he pieces it together, and he's like, does it sound similar to the kind of medicine Brandy was asked to take?
Shui's like, maybe. It sounds like that could be it. I think Peter said it affected Sparks. So maybe he had it before. And Estel too.
Well, perhaps that's somewhat of a concern, but it doesn't seem like they're on bad terms, if anything.
You look out, they're still making out.
Yeah.
Shui flushes, and he's just like, well, maybe I'm overthinking it. He says.
As you say that, you see very abruptly Peter just kind of like pushes Estel away from outside the window, and hear him almost like coughing very roughly, and she's like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And he's just like, something smells awful around here, and he just runs off.
Peter does not make for a very good lover.
What does Estel do?
She kind of looks after him for a moment, and she's like, Peter, wait, Peter, come back! And she starts to run after him.
Shui kind of flops down on the bed and is like, I don't understand, love.
Well, I mean, I didn't see that coming either myself. That was very unexpected.
Maybe I'll ask Theo about it tomorrow.
Theo, the love expert. Sorry, I just like how that was your go-to, that you had no indication.
That's Shui's go-to. Yeah. He feels like he can ask Theo a lot of questions, whether Theo knows the answers or not. So
Theo might have an answer, but he only because he has experience and not because he can see. He's very romantically dense.
So Shui is gonna like kind of nuzzle his face into the pillow, and he's like, I hope they'll be okay.
So you guys sleep through the rest of the night after that.
I wish I slept through that whole fucking thing, honestly. That's so awkward.
I feel like it wouldn't have been so bad if he didn't wake up Avayath at that exact time.
So you wake up to a knock on your door.
Mm-hmm. Who is it?
It's Win. You're doing your training with Peter today, right?
Shui opens the door. He's already.
Win's standing in front of the door smiling. Peter's standing behind him a little ways away. He is covering his mouth currently. He looks like he's about to vomit.
Good morning, Master Win. Wait, are you okay?
Yeah, he just said that there's something in the air right now. I don't know. Peter being Peter. Peter looks like he's about to say something, then he's just like, and like trying not to throw up.
She looks away from Peter. Kind of blushes a little bit.
Does Peter always throw up?
No, he must just, I don't know, sick or something. And Peter's just like, can we please go?
In a rush, I see. Well, let me just put on my armor. He takes 10 minutes.
Peter has started fast walking away before you're done.
Did Win go with him?
Wynn waited a minute, and as the minutes tick by that he's waiting for you guys to get ready, and Peter has been walking towards. It looks like he's heading towards the church. He gets progressively more and more nervous before he's like, "We're going to the church. I'll meet you there," and he just starts running after Peter.
Shui watches him go, and then turns around, and he's like, "So, are Theo and Brandy awake?"
Yeah, I will say that woke everyone.
Right, so...
Glad he's getting rest.
No, but she was just like, "So I heard something weird last night."
Did you? Was it, it wasn't a bear, right? That's what yeah.
No, it wasn't a bear, but, sweats.
Oh, so y'all saw it too?
It was something much more interesting than a bear. I don't think we saw what you saw.
What did you see?
What was it? Yeah, I'm sure if you just explain it, we'll understand.
Look at wiggles his eyebrows.
Can we see him wiggling his eyebrows?
Did you put the helmet on yet, or does that go on last?
The helmet always goes on first. Head must be protected.
Oh yeah, the helmet will go on last just so they can see that. And he's like, seems like there's something going on between Estel and Peter. Something more than friendship, if you know what I'm saying.
Like what? Best friendship?
I didn't even know there was friendship going on between them. What do you mean?
Shui blushes, and he's like, "I saw them, kissing
Oh.
right outside of our window."
Theo blushes himself and looks away. Well, I don't know if that was something you... I mean, I guess it's okay that you were, on lookout for the creature, but, maybe you didn't have to see that.
We weren't looking for that, they just did that while we were looking.
Right.
Did they know you were looking?
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not too.
Don't worry about the details.
I'm very concerned about the details, actually. That changes the situation a lot.
She kind of tugs his hair, and he's like, "It was so weird. At first they were arguing, and I think that's what woke me up. It sounded like Peter might have had the moss or something, because he was supposed to be taking some kind of medicine, and he wasn't taking it.
Oh.
But then Estel kissed him for a long time, and then he ran away."
Oh, that's unfortunate. Tread lightning in training today, guys. Don't want to bother him if something is really wrong.
God, I wish I was playing a more chaotic character.
Why? Were you gonna fucking turn into Estel?
My immediate thought was to turn into Estel and walk into the church and be like, "Hello, Peter."
Lingerie only.
Well, let's go to training. Don't want to keep him waiting.
Yeah. Let's try not to be... Let's try not to... No, pretend we don't know any of that. I'm sure he don't want to talk about that
Let's
either.
try not to pretend we don't know.
Could you fucking leave me alone? God damn. Shut up, God. Let's pretend. Let's pretend we don't know any of that.
Right. I mean, I'm happy to pretend that.
Sure, we'll keep it on the down low.
Yes, Avayath.
I imagine when Avayath tries to wiggle his eyebrows, his whole head just kind of wiggles, so he tries to let you know. Shimmies his shoulders a little bit instead.
Just lots of metal janglies.
We're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "You can't see my eyebrows, so no."
We go to the church.
So you guys go to the church, just for a quick reminder of the refresher. It looks like this church is decked out with stained glass windows that have a bunch of different kinds of symbols. It does not look like a church that is specifically for one deity of any kind. And going in, Essence is already in the church with Wynn and Peter. Peter looks a lot better, although he still is kind of grabbing at the altar. Still looks like he isn't feeling entirely well. And Wynn's just like, you seem like you're doing a little better. You okay? And he's just like, yes, I told you there's just something in the air over there. And Wynn's just like, oh, okay. Well, oh, here they come.
It was the holy water. No, I'm kidding.
Zen, I think you're right.
Oh. Shit. I'm fucking smart. Okay, let's go.
So Wynn looks at you all when you come in and is just like, awesome, great. I think that's everyone who's supposed to be here for your training, Peter.
Oh, you know what? Essence was almost out of mind, and you reminded me she was supposed to be here.
She is here.
Yeah.
She's like leaning, not leaning, she's probably sitting in one of the pews. Turns around when she sees you guys enter and gives a light smile.
Theo waves.
Avayath gives a big wave.
Shui does a very meek wave.
Brandy does not acknowledge.
She gives a tiny wave back. Looks like we're paired up together.
Looks like it.
Shui laughs. Chuckles.
Great, I can't work to work alongside you. And he, like, pats Essence on the back. Too hard, probably.
She kind of, I guess, starts a little bit from that and looks up at him. Yeah, okay.
Gives her a thumbs up. He seems to be totally oblivious to the fact that that just got on her nerves.
So yeah, Peter kind of gestures towards the pews and just like, everyone, go ahead and take a seat.
Theo sits, not next to Essence.
Shui sits.
I guess Avayath is sitting next to Essence.
Brandy standy.
Brandy! Theo pats the seat next to him.
He hesitantly sits down.
Yay! Theo smiles. He's happy now.
Wynn pulls up some kind of chair from a little storage room and sits up on stage nearby the altar. You know, Peter kind of gives him a little bit of a look that he's like sitting up on stage, and he's just like, oh, sorry, did you want me to sit in the down below? And Peter just kind of shakes his head and he's like, it's fine if you want to be that close, it's fine. Cool. And then Wynn sits. But Peter looks out towards all of you and is just like, so you will begin your training with me today. It's going to be about the same as all the other trainings. So roughly a week. Today's the first of 7 days. This isn't a religious experience, necessarily. I know some people have reservations about that kind of thing. This is more of a spiritual experience, I would say.
Isn't that one and the same?
No, they're very different. You can be spiritual without being religious. Something a lot of witches and warlocks tend to be involved in.
Avayath frowns at that. He's not a fan. But no one sees the frown because he's wearing a helmet.
So Peter looks around at everyone again and it's just like, chosen ones and sparks alike all share a connected fate, an expectation from the world to be better and to know better. We are meant to be guides for the world, solutions to problems, and beacons of light in the darkness.
Shui nods. Really attentive right now.
Theo is also attentive. He, especially at the fate part.
Avayath just, like, blurts out, well put!
At the end of the day, there are no fiends or fae, no gods or goddesses that can understand what we are. We are something outside of their realm of expertise, something bound to this universe in a way no one has been able to explain. Your training with me is meant to help you understand and come to terms with your fate as a potential chosen one. People will always want more from you than you can give. Some will despise you for things outside of your control, and others will be waiting for you to fall so that they can forget and move on.
Frown.
Yeah, less eager. She was like, being a chosen one sounds hard.
It is. It's not something that many people seek, at least not common folk. Our society raises it as something that is to be respected, but a lot of people, I'm sure, do not envy this. It's not something that goes away. He takes a moment before stepping aside away from the altar and gesturing to a large confession booth on the left side of the church, and looking at everyone. Today, and for the rest of this week, you will be stepping into this booth one by one to spend some time reflecting on yourself and share your experiences with the rest of the group as you see fit. It isn't required that you share, just something you're allowed to do if you would like. It can take time, so don't be discouraged if your first try nothing happens. We have the next 7 days.
Hyperventilating.
Is something the matter, Brandy?
No. It's fine.
Good.
Theo pats Brandy.
I just don't like churches that much.
Don't think of this as a church. Think of it as another part of your training.
That doesn't help, but gotcha.
This booth is fitted with an abundance of arcanic energy. Some see visions of the past, some meet gods, and some simply take the time to get to know themselves a bit better. Your experiences will all be different. Just try and take things slow. This is by far the hardest of the 4 trainings.
Theo will whisper to Brandy, and it's like, as he said, if anything bad, like, if you see your past, and it's particularly bad, take it slow.
Yeah.
And I'll be here if you need me.
Right.
I would just warn that you be careful while you are inside. The things inside can hurt you. I will be watching. I won't be aware of what's going on inside, but I am attuned to it, so if anything happens, I will know and can step in.
Shui stands up and is like, I'll go first.
If you would like to try to, go ahead.
He salutes him and
What? Like this?
stop laughing. Leave him alone.
God, I love Shui so much.
And then he's gonna go towards the the confessional.
So Peter opens the door for you, and you go inside, and as he closes it, he's just like, good luck. Remember, I can't see what goes on inside.
He's like, you too. And then it's like, like good luck with Estel, but
Just raises an eyebrow, you see, as he closes it on you. I want you to roll a wisdom check.
Okay.
Not a save, just a check.
Okay. 12.
So you sit inside the booth for a while. To everyone on the outside, feels like about 5 minutes pass before Peter goes up and kind of knocks on the door, and he's just like, you okay in there, Shui?
He's like, I think the box is broken.
No, you're just not ready yet, and we'll try again with you tomorrow, okay?
He's sad. Sorry, he says, and then steps out.
You hear Essence just go, oh, tough luck.
Turns red. He, you can see his fists kind of clench. And he, kind of looks at the ground. And goes back to sit down in the pew.
Peter kind of looks around at the group, and then kind of focuses in on Theo, and it's just like, why don't you give it a shot?
Theo is startled to have been chosen next and looks nervously around. He's like, I don't know if anything will happen when I go, but I can try, definitely.
Pat Theo's back.
He gives a smile, a nervous one. Theo goes up to the booth and he's like, so I just sit in there?
Yes, it'll become pretty apparent if it's working or not.
Okay. He'll look up to the ceiling. Is there anything on the ceiling?
In the ceiling of the church, there's a very intricate painting, it looks like, of the sun.
Figured something cool would be up there. Okay. So he thinks about something and then he goes in.
Okay, I want you to roll a wisdom check.
That one.
Oof. Okay, so Theo goes in and sits down for a bit, and again, there is a long pause before on the other side, you hear a knock. It's okay. We can try again with you tomorrow, too.
Yeah, Theo basically, he just sat there with his hands in his lap looking down. He's like, well, I failed. But then the thing gets knocked on, he jolts up and exits. He's like, yep, yeah, fine. I mean, I figured that would happen.
It's okay. There's plenty of chances.
Yeah. He goes back to sit down.
He kind of looks around the room again before his eyes settle on Brandy, and he's like, Brandy, why don't you give it a shot?
Oh, I still don't want to do that.
Just give it a shot. Everyone has to try eventually. The sooner you get it over with, the sooner you don't have to do it again.
Great. Yeah, sure.
Good luck, Brandy.
Yeah, thanks.
Considering what's happened so far, probably nothing will happen anyways.
God, you'd only hope, but with the dramatic irony in place, I doubt that'll be the case. He steps up to the booth and like stands in front of it for like way too long before finally like stepping in.
All right, go ahead and roll a wisdom check.
Here we go. Oh no! I knew it! I was like, watch this be a fucking natural 20, I swear to God.
That is so fucking
Fuck
funny.
me! Oh no! Oh no! Uh-oh.
Thanks, Avayath, for jinxing it.
Fuck! I knew it!
Okay, you sit inside for a few moments before it sounds to you like someone has sat down on the other side of the confessional booth.
Fucking head whips over to it immediately.
There is a long moment of silence, but you can hear them, the other person on the other side, breathing for a moment, and when they speak, you hear a muffled female voice that's kind of difficult for you to hear, but is still very familiar to you. I know it's been a long time since I've visited you. I brought more books for you. These ones have less pictures, but more words. Come on.
Brandy, it does not look good about that.
I taught you how to talk. I know you can.
Stay silent.
How have they been treating you? I've asked on several occasions, but their answers only leave me with more questions.
Wow. This ain't real, 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 this ain't real.
I'm sure you'd like to believe that. Is that how you get through these days? I'm sure you get quite lonely. I'd visit you more if I could.
Yeah, well, shit's rough around here.
Again, I wish they would tell me what they were doing.
They don't want to look like the real bad guys there.
I can tell. You always look like you have brand new clothes every time I see you. Those aren't the ones you normally wear, are they?
I guess not.
You didn't have a name yet last we spoke. Did you decide on one? After all these years, it would be wonderful to know who I'm addressing.
It's, Brandy now.
Brandy.
Ironic.
What made you pick that?
Gestures to horns and face tattoos.
There is a pause on the other side, and you can see just very bright violet eyes kind of peeking through on the other side of the screen.
Don't like
and
that.
kind of cocks their head a little bit, and you just hear her speak again. You look a lot different than I remember.
Yeah, I've gone through a bit of a change lately, I guess. I'm a lot different now.
Are those markings they're doing too?
I don't think so. No.
Very intricate designs.
Yeah, some fucker in a top hat gave them to me, I think.
A top hat? That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know how much of all that I know is real anymore.
Do you think you deserve everything that's happened to you? Have you convinced yourself of that?
I absolutely deserve. After what I did, yeah, I deserve it. I wish they... No, never mind. I shouldn't say that. I don't know who's listening.
It's just me and you. Don't worry. When I become chosen one, I will make sure that things like this don't happen again.
Cocks head questioningly. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, people don't just become queen for nothing. I have a pretty good spark.
I don't ever know that I got your name.
I didn't give it to you.
Would you like to?
I don't think so.
Fair.
One last question for you. It's the one we always end on. I'm sure you know what I'm about to ask.
Yeah?
Have you figured out who your father is yet, Tiefling?
I can't say that I know.
Well, we'll figure it out eventually. I think our time here is being cut short again. I don't think I'll be visiting you anymore.
Well, a shame.
You can hear her kind of start to move on the other side of the confessional to get up, and you hear her speak one final time. I do hope you like it out there in the real world, even if it's much more cruel than you're expecting, and when the world stops for you, I hope you'll remember to come find me again. And you hear a knock on the door.
Yeah.
Are you good in there, Brandy?
Yeah. I'm alright.
Seems like it worked. You can come out.
Alright. He steps out. He looks like he's had, like, tears streaming down his face the whole time.
Oh, Theo's so worried.
But, like, his face doesn't look like he recognizes that at all.
Peter's just like, you are free to share your experiences if you want to, if you think it would be beneficial.
No, there wasn't No, there's not really much to share.
It's fine. Your experience is your own, and it's something that's supposed to be helpful to you.
Right.
Why don't we end today's training there, then? You all can come back tomorrow. One success is pretty good, honestly. The booth takes a lot of energy to charge, so we can only usually do 1 or 2 of those a day.
Nods. Starts walking towards the exit immediately.
What are you crying about?
What do you mean, crying?
Your face, you're crying.
Like, touches face, is like, oh, what the fuck? Like, wipes eyes.
Theo's gonna scurry after him.
I don't know. I'm fine.
Big guy like you gets so upset over something. And Peter kind of, you see, just shoots her a look and just like, Essence, you'll go first tomorrow. And she just kind of blinks at him and is like, sure, fine, whatever. And Wynn stands up from his chair and goes over and puts a hand on Peter's shoulder and is just like, we're gonna head out then. See you guys tomorrow.
Brandy exits the church.
See you tomorrow.
She bows at Peter before leaving as well.
Okay, who is the last one to exit?
I guess Shui. I mean, unless Essence.
No, Essence would have gone shortly after Peter was like, you're gonna go first tomorrow.
Okay. So I guess Shui, since he bowed.
Okay. So you all file out. Shui, you can roll a perception check.
Oh my god.
Don't fuck it up.
Okay. I fucked it up.
What'd you get?
I got 9.
9. Okay. You don't notice anything. You just close the door quickly behind you. You think you hear something for a moment behind the door, but no, it must have just been the wind.
Theo definitely scurried after Brandy. Was trying to make sure he's okay. Not really prying for like what happened. He's more so just like, are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. You, like I said, I just don't like churches all that much.
Right. I mean, yeah, I just, if you ever want to talk, I'm here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
He gives a smile and a nod.
Gives nod.
Alright, you guys go back to your cabin. Are you talking at all before he goes to sleep?
Avayath puts his Bible on the floor and he does push-ups while reading his Bible.
God.
He's very dedicated.
You're very dedicated, Avayath.
I am. Religion is important, and so is staying in shape.
I can see that they are to you.
Shui is probably also doing something physical. So I think he's probably doing like his balance training. What's he gonna balance on? What do you guys think?
Avayath.
That's so good! Yes!
Avayath's doing push-ups and Shui's balancing on him.
Like doing
Yeah.
a 1 foot balance on Avayath's back as he does push-ups. That's so
Yes.
fucking good.
So he's doing that then. He's just like, so what do you guys think you'll see in the booth tomorrow?
The idea was that we're likely to see things from our past, right?
Or the future, or...
Just things relating to us personally.
Shui thinks, and he's like, I hope I get to see my parents. I can't remember their faces at all, but it'd be nice to see them again.
I hope mine. It would be very interesting. Because I don't think... I mean, there's nothing really special about my background or anything. I would hope my parents wouldn't randomly show up in that. But something fantastic. The universe is vast. I don't know if anything special would notice me, but I would look forward to it if it did.
I think something special will show up for you. You're a pretty fantastic person yourself.
Yeah, you're really special, Theo.
Oh, he like blushes and looks away, and is like fidgeting with his hands. It's like, thanks guys, you're really nice, both of you.
Well, it's true. You are a spark after all.
Right. He like kind of deflates at that.
I suppose it's... I would like to see my fellow churchgoers and maybe my family members, but it's also possible I'll have to face the Abraham again. Wouldn't want that.
Oh, right, your story. That would be hard, I think.
Shui kind of looks down at Avayath. Your family must be really strong, just like you.
Well, strangely enough, my birth was a little unexpected, actually. My parents are just ordinary churchgoers as far as the rest of the world is concerned. Of course, they're special to me, but they're not sparks or anything.
Well, you don't have to have a spark to be special.
That's true, indeed. They're the best parents I could ask for.
Oh, that's very nice.
I'd love for all of you to meet them someday.
I'm sure I'd be glad to.
Shui kind of smiles. He's like, I'd love to meet them. He kind of looks at Brandy, or looks over to Brandy, who hasn't really said anything. No, she's not gonna say much, but damn, I don't know what to say, because he's not gonna be like, tell me. No, he literally would not do that. I hope what you saw wasn't bad, Brandy.
It was a time. I hope I don't see anything again.
Shui kind of thinks, and he's like, I don't know if I have anything like that, like something that I wouldn't really want to see.
I gotta let a ghost like that. It ain't fun.
Oh.
I'll say on that note, you guys go to bed for the evening and wake up the next day.
In the middle of the night, Brandy reads in the middle of the night. He has, I chose it on the trinket chart now, he has a small worn book of children's nursery rhymes that he reads at night.
That's so fitting.
Yeah.
So you wake up to a knock on your door.
Good morning!
Yeah, it's Wynn on the other side with Peter standing behind him, who looks better today. Standing kind of far away from your cabin and just kind of glancing up at you all and is just like, come on, we're going right into it today.
Right.
Good to hear. Just let me put on my armor again.
God God.
Jay, I love you so much. I really do.
Peter gives you a very bored expression, and then he's just like, I'll see you at the church, and starts walking. And when it's just like, yeah, I'll see you at the church too, and also starts walking.
Yeah, I'll see you guys too. And Shui starts walking. No, I'm kidding.
Avayath takes 10 minutes.
You think he'd be good at it by now?
It's the D&D rules. You literally can't go faster.
Oh.
I cannot wait for something to happen in the middle of the night and Avayath to be like, wait, I have to put on my armor. And he misses an entire combat because he was putting on his armor.
God.
Maybe his spark will evolve to where
His spark will evolve to him being able to put on armor in a minute.
He needs to get like soulbound armor of some shit where he can like just make it appear on his body.
I like this though. I like the fact that he always has to take
this
10
shit's
minutes.
fucking hilarious. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Oh, that's so good.
Realistically, every D&D character would have to do this, but I like how Avayath points it out.
Yeah, it is really funny. I mean, like, Theo's, like, getting dressed as well, but...
and I really, really like that he sees no problem with it.
Yeah, you have to wear your armor into a church, into a confession booth, of course.
Can he even fit in the confession booth?
It's pretty big.
Okay.
It's one of those things. It's like how the beds were kind of made bigger. They are sized
Right,
because you never know who's going to be a spark, so they're sized for bigger races. So yeah, we go back to the church, and sure enough, Peter's there, Essence is there, Wynn is there. When you guys walk in, it looks like Peter and Wynn are kind of talking a little bit. Like Wynn has his hand on Peter's shoulder, and Peter looks annoyed and kind of pushes him away, and he's like, can you please just go sit in the pews today, Wynn? Okay, yeah, sure, I'll go do that. Just making sure you're okay. And Wynn goes and sits down in the pews.
Precious boy. I sit in the pew, and I wait for it to start.
Shui sit in a pew.
I think they all sit in the same order because no one else is willing to sit next to Essence.
Yesterday when Brandy was like crying and she pointed it out like all bitchy like, Theo was mad actually, but I didn't want to interrupt anything, but he was mad. So yeah, he doesn't want to talk to Essence right now, so he doesn't want to sit next to her.
She looks very happy to see Avayath sit next to her again. Big smile.
Sits down.
Avayath, I guess, gives her a thumbs up in a very cheesy way.
Peter looks around to the group, and then he kind of glances over everyone. He's like, how did everyone sleep?
Like a log.
Well enough.
Like 2 logs.
Sounded like y'all were sawing logs.
Brandy, don't. It's you guys aren't that loud of snorers.
You seem to have a hard time sleeping. Maybe you should get earplugs or something. But I will try to be quieter in the future, of course.
You're fine. I don't sleep much anyway. You're fine.
So Peter kind of just nods at everyone, and then he like looks at Essence and is like, I hope you slept well, because you're going first. And she kind of raises an eyebrow, and she's like, what's with the fucking attitude? He looks back, and he's like, that's a great question, Essence. And she kind of shrugs again and gets up. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll go in. And she gets up and steps in, and it's just like, it looks like a fucking piece of cake. And he closes the door on her. So let me double check. What is the DC for today? Okay, yeah. So there is a long pause while she waits inside, and then Peter comes up after a moment and knocks on the door and is like, why don't you come on out, Essence? And she slowly comes out, looks around, it's just like, nothing happened.
Insight check.
Go for it.
I got a +2.
Basically a mind reader.
21.
Oh, he is.
She appears to be telling the truth. And Peter looks at her and is just like, fine, then you can try again tomorrow. And she's just like, what? No, let me go back in. I probably just wasn't in there long enough. And he's just like, no, Essence, you failed. And she's just kind of staring at him for a moment. And she kind of is looking back in the booth, and she's like, I just wasn't in there long enough. Like, if you give me like 2 more minutes, I'm sure I'd get it just fine.
Could you sit down?
Essence, go sit down. She kind of looks over towards you, Brandy, and scowls very openly before moving back towards the pews. And Peter looks out over everyone and is just like, Theo, why don't you come up again? We'll try you.
Oh, yeah, wonderful.
Avayath looks confused and like points to himself like
I didn't even get to go yesterday.
yeah, that's what he's thinking, like, wait, my turn?
Yeah, why? I mean, Avayath hasn't gone yet.
He kind of blinks a little bit and looks over towards Avayath. It almost looks like he forgot you were here. Of course, Avayath, why don't you come up then?
He sits back down, relieved.
Avayath very cheerily marches in. As soon as he closes the door, he's like, Claytor, are you there? I sure hope Claytor's on the other end.
I would like to hope. Okay, so the magic hasn't kicked in yet, so everybody hears that.
Claytor, ring, ring. It's your favorite boy.
It's as Peter is closing the door. Roll a wisdom check for me.
14.
So you wait inside the booth for a while, and you're just like, Claytor, yoo-hoo, and it just, nothing happens. And after a moment, you hear a knock on the confessional booth, and Peter say, come on out, Avayath.
Seems like nothing happened.
Yes, like I said, sometimes it takes a couple tries, so no worries. There's no harm in failing the first one.
He just nods yes, and he sits down.
Anyways, let's go back to where we started. Theo, come on up.
Oh. He was like hoping that he would forget. So he goes up.
Alright, go ahead and roll check.
19.
That does pass.
Damn. Oh shit.
So you sit in this booth for a while, and it almost feels like it gets darker, like a bit mustier. It takes you a moment to kind of like recognize where this smells. It smells familiar to the library that Estel is in all the time, that you studied in with her.
He feels pleased that it feels familiar.
So you sit there for a while after this change in atmosphere happens, before you hear the sound of shuffling on the other side, followed by the sound of pages being turned in someone's hand. And you hear a very bored voice speak up. Hello, Theo? It's Theo, right? That's what you want to be called now.
Theo widens his eyes, like, I don't know, not scared. He's like startled that it happens to be her. He's like, did not expect this. Melania?
Yeah, it's been a while.
How are you in the booth?
The what?
And never.
I just came to say hi and visit you. I asked Alice where you were. She said you went off to some kind of training.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a really long time. I'm surprised. I guess Alice told you my name.
Yeah, she did.
Right. So what are you... I mean, it's been like a...
You realize this isn't a place for someone like you, right? There's a lot more people around that have a better chance at this working out than you. Why don't you come home?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean... I definitely... Yeah, they all have better chances than I do. I would come home. I mean, I would go back to Auntie Alice.
But not back home?
No.
Alice told me a little bit about what happened between you and Mom and Dad. They didn't talk about it at all to me.
Well, good, because, that's my business, and, I mean, you have your own business. Don't be worried about me.
Why do you want to stay here, though? You're forcing your friend to follow you like a puppy. Probably wants to be anywhere else but here, and he has to stay because of you.
Theo, looks sadly at his lap. And he's like, yeah, I feel bad about that. You said it was fine, but... Yeah, I mean... I don't know how to fix it, though. So... I mean, I can't really leave. They won't let us.
Just another excuse. You really think you're gonna make something of yourself out here?
It wasn't my...
You can dress like you're from Seoul, you can run away from home, you can change your name, but... Can't run away from yourself. Can't run away from me.
It's been over a decade, Melania. You don't know me.
There's just a long silence on the other end.
Sorry. That was...
You never raised your voice like that to me before?
Well, maybe I've learned to stand up for myself a little.
I'm not telling you to come home, Theo. We both know that's not a good idea for you, and I don't want to pretend we're some happy family when we're not.
Right, so what's the point of this then? Sorry.
Is there a point? I just wanted to come see you.
Right, how has your life gone then?
It's going fine. I'm working at the library, still same as usual. Nothing's really changed. Mom and Dad still talk about you sometimes. They wonder where you are, wonder about what's going on, and I don't know if they actually give a shit, to be honest.
Yeah, I doubt it. I'm surprised they even mention me, you know?
I'm glad you got out, Theo, of this family. I'd get out too if I could.
Melania. You can.
It's fine. I like the library. It's fine.
You can get out.
There's more rustling on the other side for a moment, and you hear her speak up again. Maybe I didn't mean everything that I said just now. Maybe I'm just mad you left with them, and I did mean one thing for sure. You're still the same person, Theo. You're still my little brother.
Right. If you need something, I know. We have had our, past, and I'm sure Auntie Alice would be happy to see you if you wanted that.
I'll be okay. You still talk a lot.
Okay.
It's good to see you again, Theo. Good luck out there.
Okay.
Why don't you show someone that, or show everyone that it's okay to just be okay. You know, you don't gotta be anything extraordinary to make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, that's who I am. I'm just okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep, nothing wrong with it.
See you, Theo.
Good luck.
Me too. And it sounds like she gets up and leaves, and that kind of musty sensation also starts to fade, and you hear a knock on the door. You good in there, Theo?
Theo will open the door slowly, and he's trying to like hide like in his hands, I guess, because he is like I think he's just sobbing at this point.
Avayath is gonna whisper to Essence,
Don't say shit.
he's just gonna, whisper to Essence, like, let's just leave Theo alone.
Kind of glances at him and frowns and is just like, why is everyone coming out of these things crying?
Brandy shoots up from his seat and like looks over at Theo like scared.
Theo like tries hard. Honestly, you know what? I think he might just not say anything. Is the only exit just the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just fast walking to leave out that way.
Peter calls out as you start leaving, and he's like, we'll call that good for today. You all can go ahead and leave.
Brandy quickly follows.
Avayath won't quickly follow, he just walks out normally. Tries to play it cool. Even though Avayath is also panicked.
Theo, hey,
He'll just be like, it's fine, it's fine.
it ain't fine, clearly.
No, it's fine, I just... it's fine.
Follows. Tries to catch up.
What's Shui doing? I don't want to interrupt.
He, I guess, was the last one to leave again, unless Essence is still in there, but,
If you're the last one to leave, you can roll a perception check again.
he bows to Peter. And I guess I will roll. Fuck my life. Okay. 22.
Damn, okay.
Why'd you say fuck my life to that? What?
Because I don't want to see anything.
I do not want to perceive.
So you go and you start to close the door behind you, and Peter's kind of standing up at the altar waiting for you to leave. And you see the second that door is almost closed, he collapses on the stage, and you see Wynn run up to him.
Oh, fear.
What the fuck? Oh my god. Can I go back in?
You can, but we'll go back to Theo now.
Okay.
Theo's like, he's attempting to escape, attempting to run.
I attempt to run faster.
So, I guess he is caught.
Yeah, Brandy will just like catch up to him and be like, "Hey, are you okay? Are you good?"
It wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even that bad. I just it wasn't bad. It just it was bad, but it wasn't bad.
I know what you mean. Not exactly, I'm sure, but hey, like you offered me, if you need to talk, like I'm here for you. I know that shit seems like it brings out some trauma, bud. I'm here if you need to talk.
How do you, I don't know how to even. I just how do you deal with, why are people like this? I don't understand. Why can someone be so cruel?
That hits Brandy in a very particular way.
But someone be so cruel, but you love them and they love you, but they're so awful to you. But then they're nice. And then you're like, did they mean it or what?
People are complicated for sure. But I don't know what they said to you. I know my experience certainly wasn't the best, but I'd hope you wouldn't take them to heart.
I don't want to. She doesn't even know me. She doesn't know me.
Brandy will, like, hug Theo, like, to comfort him, or at least try to.
Theo will accept that.
Like, pats his back.
Avayath was just walking to them. He might not even find them. Because he's not running.
You walk up as they're like hugging each other.
Theo's still crying. He'd probably just a good hug cry, you know.
Yeah, he is. He pats Theo's back, like, it's alright, it's gonna be alright. Alright?
Continues to cry.
Looks to Avayath like, oof. Like, yeah.
I'm sorry to see that you didn't have an exactly pleasant time in there. But it's over now.
It's not gonna be over.
Well, we'll work together on whatever it is that is bothering you, right?
Yeah, trauma like that can stick for a long time, but it doesn't mean that you gotta deal with it alone.
It was all fine. Didn't even think about it for years, you know? It's like, just ignore it. It's fine.
Pats Theo's back.
Yeah, I get you.
He after a bit, he attempts to regain his breath, and he looks to Avayath, and he's like, "Thanks for your reassuring words, Avayath." And he hugs Brandy tighter again, and then he's like, "Thank you."
Of course.
We're happy to help.
I'll say with that, we switch back over to Shui, who has just re-entered the building.
Yeah, so he was about to leave. The door is about to close. He saw Peter collapse. He was like, what the fuck? He kind of opens the door, busts back in, and he's like, Master Peter?
Hey, he said class is over. You can go.
But he runs up to him and kind of gets on his knees and hovers over him, like a hand over him, like.
He appears to be unconscious, and Wynn currently has both of his hands on him. Hey, why don't you go ahead and leave?
What happened to him?
He just wasn't feeling well. It must have been whatever he had yesterday.
Master Peter!
He's fine. Listen, Shui.
Looks at Wynn.
It's fine, go.
You said he just looks unconscious?
Yeah.
What's this?
He's fine, really. He's okay. He's,
Does this happen a lot?
There's just, there's after effects, side effects of stuff, depending on your abilities. His aren't great. It's okay, though.
Looks at Wynn. Looks at Peter. And, he stands up. Is there anything I can do?
He just needs to rest for a bit.
Shui nods, and will start to leave. And before he fully exits the building, he turns back to look at Peter and Wynn.
You see Peter's eyes kind of open as you start to close the door, and look over to Wynn and just immediately kind of shove him away as you close the door and just hear, "Don't touch me!"
Compassion wasted. I'm kidding. So Shui's relieved that Peter is okay, or seems to be okay. And then he remembers Theo, and we'll go searching for the rest of them.
You find them pretty easily after all that.
Are they still in the same spot, or did...
I'd say yeah, because your interaction didn't last super long, so...
Also, Theo would just want to hug Brandy longer.
So Shui sees, at first, Avayath and Brandy in the distance, because they're big, and gets closer and sees Theo hugging Brandy, and then Shui kind of picks up the pace until he runs up to catch them. And he's like, Theo, are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Looks at Brandy.
He has a very... If anybody's looking at his face, he's very vacant right now, it seems like. He's very lost in thought right now.
Looks at Avayath, and he's gonna let them have their moment, but he's gonna tell Avayath what he just saw. And he's just like, yeah, when I was leaving the church, I saw Master Peter collapse.
We should go get him a cleric or something then.
No. I went in to see what was wrong, but Master Wind just told me to stay away. But as I was leaving, I think he woke up.
Perhaps it's a side effect of his medicine problem.
I think that's what Master Wind was saying.
That's unfortunate. I don't know if there's anything we can do about that.
She's kind of sad, and he's just like, I hope he'll be okay.
Unfortunately, I don't know anything about Moss.
So you guys finish up your little emotional scene here before heading back to the cabin for the night, if there's anything you want to do before you go to bed.
Theo might write something down. Like, if he has a journal or something.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he might do that before going to sleep.
What are you writing?
A letter.
A letter, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if we're even allowed. But if we are, or even if we're not, I think this is good to write out.
I want to write a letter.
Again, I don't know if I was mostly doing this for, I don't know, my own closure.
Shui kind of sits back on his bed. And he's just like, this is the first time I've really been away from my home village by myself. I was always with Master Dashi, and she's always looked after me since my parents couldn't. And I miss her.
I know how you feel, I would say.
So, I think I'd like to write a letter too. To her.
Theo smiles.
I would as well, especially since we're not allowed to leave. It would be good to have some form of communication.
I would also like to write a letter to Dashi. I've never met her. She sounds like a wonderful woman.
Gonna convert her to Claytor.
Oh, God.
Well, do what you think you should.
Shui finds some paper.
Avayath does too. He starts writing a letter to Rue.
When are we gonna meet up with our fellow churchgoers to go to church?
Has it been 6 months yet?
As friends.
I want that church party.
So yeah, she begins composing his letter.
Theo's was more of a vent rant.
His is literally, he's writing it to Dashi, but he don't write too well.
Dashi, hi, how are you? I'm good.
But he's trying his best.
Theo writes multiple pages. He gets emotional at times. Sometimes he probably cries. But yeah, he writes out this big long thing, and then he closes his journal and he's like, time to never send that. And then he puts it with the rest of his things.
All the other unsent letters.
He's got binders full of them.
Nah, but Shui finishes his as well. Significantly shorter than Theo's.
It takes him just as long, though.
But yeah, I was just gonna say.
Does he cry?
No, he doesn't cry. He seems
Cries from
really
joy.
excited, yeah. Dashi might cry. She's like, Shui's writing a letter. But yeah, he does that, and then I suppose he will begin to wind down and go to bed.
Avayath's letter is kind of starts out with hi, how are you? And then he starts talking about his own experience, what's been going on in his life. He talks about how cool Theo and Brandy and Shui are.
Aww.
Doesn't say a lot about Essence.
It's an essence exists. And that's where we're gonna leave that.
There's another Asmer here. She's here. She's vibing.
She's here, and she sure is here, and her name's Essence, and she's here. Anyway. Claytor always said, if you have nothing nice to say about someone, don't say anything at all.
So here we go, and then just a bunch of blank lines.
Oh, that's really good.
I will say this, since you reminded me, but Shui's letter was basically, also chronicling his experiences at this boot camp, almost. And he talks a lot about, he talks about Brandy and Theo, obviously. But he talks a lot about Avayath and how cool he is and how much he wants to be like Avayath because he looks up to Avayath. But he hasn't told Avayath that, so you guys...
I'd like to imagine when he starts writing that part, he like covers his letter as much as he can.
Literally. What are you writing? Oh, no, nothing.
Theo, literally, he was writing, like, in his bed. So, like, anything that anyone could see, like, they'd have to be next to him to see. So, mostly it's just emotional ramblings of, like, so this and this. I do not stand for it. I'm a person with feelings, and I can do stuff. I am capable of doing things. And he just says a lot of that kind of thing. And then he also apologizes multiple times in the letter, but also I'm not sorry for feeling this way, but I am, if I've hurt you, I'm sorry, but also Theo's just like this.
I like to imagine Avayath is about to ask, like, what are you writing? But then he sees Theo crying and he's like, never mind, I'm just going to keep it.
Not upset. Brandy reads his books, not the little worn one that he has, but reads and drinks some of the stuff because he's been told to. So he drinks.
Roll a wisdom save.
Yeah, I figured. You're rough. 9.
It looks like you've drunk about half that bottle, dude.
I love this stuff.
He doesn't actually say that, but he, like, before he notices, he's like, oh shit, fuck. And, like, corks it and puts it away.
I like to imagine he, like, shifty eye and then puts it away. Hope nobody saw I drank, like, a lot of this.
Somebody like chug that shit. Oops.
Oh shit, this was supposed to last the whole week, wasn't it?
Take smaller sips, damn it.
But yeah, you guys eventually settle down for the evening after writing your letters and taking your medicine and all that, and go to sleep, wondering what tomorrow's training might entail for those who still have to go into the booth.
I'm here crying out for you, so you'll find me at last and wipe away our past. Even now, falling towards something beyond this new script. The show starts with us.